Hi, I'm Jukori, and this is not a drill. My voice is a bit compromised for this video, but I didn't want to delay the project and getting this video out, so I hope you'll bear with me as I'm a bit rough around the edges. After The Witcher Episode 7, we know that Geralt was actually in Cintra and committed to protecting his child surprise Ciri against the Nilfgaard invasion, even while Ciri was having to flee for her life from the sacking of the capital. Yennefer reconnected with Aretuza and the Brotherhood of Sorcerers, and Tissaia is anxious to have Yennefer stand with the mage minority against Nilfgaard's continued expansion across the continent. And yay, we got to see Istrid and Triss and Sabrina and some eels. Before we get into what you need for the season finale, I have a quick note for you. I'm not going to leave you hanging after Episode 8. I plan to do one more video in this series to wrap things up, piecing together everything that was presented in Episode 8 and reflecting on Season 1 as a whole, plus offering some thoughts about Season 2 to come. It may take me a little longer to produce and release that one, but be sure you've subscribed and click the bell so you'll get a notice for it. But for now, I have a short list of things to prepare you for Episode 8, so let's get right into it. Earlier in this series, I mentioned that the logo for this Netflix series is a symbol of our destiny-linked triad: a wolf for Geralt, an obsidian star for Yennefer, and a swallow for Ciri. After the cold opening in Episode 8, look for a very cool graphical sequence showing the merging of the symbols from the start of Episodes 1 through 7 to create this logo. Those symbols are shown here, and I want to step through them here for you as a reminder of what those symbolize. Episode 1 is an eclipse. Recall that Renfri was one of those born under a prophesied eclipse, which was the reason Stregobor wanted her dead. Episode 2 is the image of 4 eels around the star representing Yennefer. This star is shaped like the obsidian star that Yennefer wears as a pendant around her neck after her ascension. Recall that in this episode, Tissaia turned some of Yennefer's classmates into eels, so they would be pure conduits of chaos, adding to Aretuza's power. Episode 3 is a claw made from the lily symbol of Temeria. Recall that this is the episode in which Geralt fought the Striga for King Foltest of Temeria, and allowed her to transform back to a human. Episode 4 is a tree with a sword through it. This is the tree from Ciri's vision after drinking the waters of Brokilon. This is known as the World Tree, and in Witcher lore, it symbolizes connections across a vast multiverse. Recall in my earlier coverage that the conjunction of spheres was a great cataclysm that resulted in humans arriving on the continent. That event was a collision of alternate dimensions. Episode 5 is an intertwined male and female figure forming the amphora shape that Yennefer drew on her belly when she tried to capture the last wish to the djinn. Episode 6 is a dragon. This was the episode where we met Borch 3 jackdaws, who turned out to be a golden dragon who can transform into human form. Episode 7 is the lion symbolizing Cintra, but broken into pieces, symbolizing Nilfgaard attacking and ending Calanthe's rule there. Watch how each part of these 7 symbols transform into the final symbol. In fact, go back to watch again and freeze the image a couple of times to pick up even more symbolism in how each part forms the final logo. Number 2. Geralt's path ahead. Geralt had promised Calanthe in Episode 7 that he would protect Ciri. However, before the episode was done, Geralt saw that Calanthe was dead. We're not sure what's going through Geralt's head when Episode 8 starts, as he passes through the ruins of a refugee camp that Ciri escaped from earlier in the season. There, though, he hears how much time has likely passed since the campers died. Geralt also states where he's intending to go next, suggesting that he feels his obligations to others are at an end. The events of Episode 8, though, put Geralt on a slightly different path than what he intended. Number 3. Ghouls. In the Witcher games, a ghoul is a lower-level magic creature that pops out of the ground to attack. It has characteristics of a zombie of pop culture, and can generally be found where there have been dead bodies lying around for a while. In the game, they're not too bad to fight 1 or 2 at a time, but they can often come out in larger numbers that would overwhelm an unprepared or under-geared player. I love how they pay tribute to the ghoul fighting experience from the game during the scene in the show. Number 4. Sodden Hill. Earlier in this video series, I introduced Sodden Hill just so you knew where it was in relation to other things, particularly since other characters were using it as a reference point for directions to other things. Yennefer's story in Episode 8 occurs in Sodden Hill, and Vilgefortz and Tissaia explain the location's strategic significance in the progression of Nilfgaard through the Northern Kingdoms. By the end of the episode, you're sure to remember Sodden Hill for the events that take place there. Number 5. Mages and Scruples. There are some moral and ethical reasons that the Brotherhood of Sorcerers forbid and refuse to teach certain types of magic. After you see Fringilla leading a small force of magic users from Nilfgaard in using some of these techniques, you'll probably be able to guess why the Brotherhood forbids them. Number 6. Connections across stories. Even though our timelines are synced as Episode 8 starts, there are still 3 distinct stories happening around our 3 main characters, Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri. Throughout the episode, though, you'll see cuts from one story to the next with prominent common links, making it clear that we're finally seeing stories that are happening at the same time. Number 7. Vicenna and Vesemir. During Episode 8, Geralt has some flashbacks and visions. During those, you'll hear 2 names spoken, Vicenna and Vesemir. You may also be seeing internet buzz speculating who may be cast to play Vesemir in future seasons, with many fans eager to see Mark Hamill in the role. Don't let these new characters throw you off. Here's what you need to know. Vicenna is Geralt's mother and a sorcerer. Vesemir is a witcher who is Geralt's mentor starting when Geralt was a young boy. That's all I have for you for Episode 8. Anything else would definitely spoil the experience for you. Check out the episode and let me know if this video was helpful. Also, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get a notice when I post my video wrapping up Season 1.